What up, people? It's your boy Marv, and this is the Nerds in the Hood. Folks, the movie pass movement has struck again. Hope y'all doing good out there. Hope y'all enjoying your Labor Day weekends. Coming to you again with another video for all my thugs sitting on dubs, all my nerds that prefer the English dubs and the anime. This is for y'all. Once again, movie pass movement. It's doing its thing. If you don't know what that is by now, what it does is, this is me using my AMC A-listers movie pass to see at least 3 movies a week. Usually it's 1 or 2, but at least 3 movies a week for $25 a month, all across the United States of America. It's a lovely country of ours. And what I do is I try to find movies that I want to see, even if I don't want to see them. Like sometimes I go with my girlfriend and we have a good time too. But I decided to go see a movie that honestly she wanted to see, but I ended up loving it by the time I walked out of the theater. This movie is called Blink Twice. If you haven't seen this movie by now, it's been out for 2 weeks. Go see it. It is definitely turning a lot of heads. It is definitely something we didn't I didn't even think it was going to be that good. No disrespect. Movie was written and directed and had a brief appearance by Zoe Kravitz. I saw in the credits, she had a brief appearance. So all 3 of those things. If you don't know, Zoe Kravitz, her boyfriend is Channing Tatum, who is also the star of the movie as well. He is also the antagonist of the movie, and we'll get more on that in a second. So I made sure I had my gear right, you know what I'm saying? I have my anime lounge shirt. I have my hat that I got from Iconic Deals. Shout out to my boy Reem. I see you. I had to do the drop for you. Got this yesterday. Caught you in the flea market over in Manhattan. Catch my man. Follow him on Iconic Deals. I'll put his link in the description as to where you can find him and you can shop and get some cool swag courtesy of that man right there. Shout out to him and my homegirl Safi. Anyway, back to this though. So, well, no, not back to the, hold on, because y'all see the message on here? No hair, don't care. You know what I mean? Got to make sure y'all understand it real quick. No hair, don't care, that's me. Nah, I'm being stupid. Anyway, this movie was definitely not what I expected at all. This definitely surprised me. This definitely exceeded all my expectations of this film. Also, because, you know, when you go into a film, sometimes you be trying to read reviews from other sites to see what's going on. One such site in particular, which I will not throw their names under the bus or throw any salt on their names, but I will say everybody knows this particular site from 3 distinct letters, starting with the letter I, ending with the letter N. And if I remember correctly, I don't think they was too fond of this movie Blink Twice, but that I could be wrong. But from what I remember seeing, they wasn't really fans of this movie. I didn't even want to read it because 9 times out of 10 when they be trying to pick movies, they always end up being like, yo, this movie was kind of trash. And then you go see it and you're like, this movie wasn't trash at all. So, yeah, because if I'm looking right now, yeah, it's a lot of 7s and 8s. It's very mild up in this mug. Very, very mild. Very mild. Yeah, they gave it a 6 out of 10 for Blink Twice. So, legally, I am not throwing salt on this company's name. But I am saying that their reviews are always in a sense of like, they say sometimes things are kind of like whack, and then you find out it's kind of fire. And sometimes they say things are fire, and you find out it's kind of whack. So, it's one of those take it with a grain of salt type of reviews. But anyway, that's their thing. So, this movie, I'm going to try my best to review it without spoiling too much of the film. Because this is one of those movies with a twist that is so crazy, it doesn't do the movie any justice if I spoil it. It does a great disservice to it if I spoil it for you. So I'm not going to spoil it for you. But what I am going to do is give you a best of a spoiler-free review as I can and let you know that this movie was fire. Okay? So this was a movie that Zoe Kravitz written and directed. She wrote this back in 2017. She got started on it. During all that time, she had time to do other films. She had time to be the Catwoman. She had time to, keep herself afloat. But she wrote this film right in the midst of the Me Too movement, right in the midst of the, you know, all of that stuff, everything that was going on during that movement, she just was reflecting on it. And there's been a lot of different like rumors as to like what is this pertaining to. One rumor I read online, and again, this is with a grain of salt. We don't know. I'm not saying this is the truth. It was a rumor that it was like kind of inspired by the whole Epstein Island thing. I don't know. But what I do know is it was crazy. The movie was crazy. And it had a lot of different stars that we've seen, from Alia Shawkat to Naomi Aki, Channing Tatum himself, Christian Slater, Haley Joel Osment, Simon Rex. So a lot of these names Gen Z might not know, but I know. I've seen them in different movies. These guys are pretty much like legends at what they do. But Gina Davis was in it too. Shout out to the OG. So this movie was basically, long story short, this movie was about a woman named Frida, her and her best friend Jess. They was working they were waitresses basically, and they were going to different events, being waitresses at events. When you at an event and you standing there and the waitress comes up with the waiter comes up with like the servings or the drinks, and you take them and keep it moving, right? She was one of those people. She was living an average life. Her rent was due or something like that. She was broke. She wasn't like completely broke, but that kind of broke where it's like you struggling. And she had a huge crush on this tech billionaire named Slater King, who was Channing Tatum. And basically, she was starstruck every time. And she went to an event that coincidentally was run by this man. And she did something that, first off, I gotta say is it's some bullshit what she did. I don't mean to curse, but there's gonna be that kind of video. She did some bullshit. So what she did was, during this event, at some point, her and her friend was chilling in the back. Her friend was like, I'm about to go light one. What's up? Da da da. She decides like, yo, let's crash the party. They crashed the party that they was working at. They crashed the party that they was cocktail waitresses at, which is some bullshit. I don't know a lot of people that just do that. During the event while you working, you decide to just change into some swag ass clothes and then just go and crash an event that you weren't invited to. Boss. That's some bullshit. So they do that, and she has heels that she can't really walk properly in, and she ends up like getting starstruck, seeing Slater, walking accidentally, like tripping and falling, and meets Slater King. So long story short, Slater is infatuated with this woman off first sight, and infatuated with Frida, and they talk all night and they hang out with him and his friends and all this other stuff. And then he's like, yo, we about to go to this island that I bought. I bought an island, you know what I'm saying? I go there to just get away and just relax and chill and stuff. No phones, no nothing. And she's like, well, all right. Well, he was like, maybe I'll holler at you when I come back. She was like, I bet. And he leaves for a second, comes back. He's like, yo, why don't you just come with me to the island? And she was like, word? Goes into the island. They go to the island. They have a good time. Drinks, drugs, all that. And then that's as far as I'm willing to say, because that's when everything really starts happening, is once they get on that island. And that's when all of the plot happens. The plot thickens, the plot climaxes, game over. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to really say all that happens. I just know when they get to the island, that's when you really, really, really have to start paying attention for the rest of the movie. Like in the beginning, you could pay attention, you could laugh at certain things. Like there was things I laughed at as a New Yorker. Like I was like, yo, time out. So you telling me Shorty was able to go to work late, because that's what they show in the movie. She came to work late, crashed the party that she was working at, and then go to this island for a good amount of time, no PTO, no call out, no nothing. I was like, by the end of this movie, when you come back, you don't have a job, fam. I'm telling you right now. There's no way you're gonna come back to work like, yo, what up, man? I was chilling. Nah, you out of here. But you gotta take that disillusion. You gotta move from that, because you don't want to be in a position where you sitting there trying to think of the realness when there's a real message being shown here. So this movie was so real as to what message it was trying to convey, ladies and gentlemen, that there was a disclaimer at the beginning of the film letting you know that this movie is dealing with power and the abuse of power. And it was very evident in this movie as to like how he used his power to get her to go to an island, to get her to be on the island for a set amount of time, and to get what he wanted throughout the movie at the end. So it really kind of like dived more on the sense of like, this is what people do when they have that kind of power, whether it's wealthy power, political power, or just overall power. Like, this is what they do, military power, whatever the case may be, and how messed up it is. And using what has been seen in the past, like, what, decade with the Me Too movement, it definitely was evident in this movie when you really got to the real nitty gritty of it. Because these guys were like, because, you know, it was like, when she got there, she met different, like, celeb type people, rich people and stuff. One was a reality star. One was, I think he was just like a chef or something like that. And like, it was a bunch of different dudes that was cool with the billionaire Slater King. Some of them worked for him. Some of them was just cool with him. And they was all just like, they was corny. They was corny. The chef was corny. There was another tech dude on there who was like, he was mad because he was just miserable about his life. He was corny. And Christian Slater's character, I forgot his name. He just kept taking pictures of everybody. He was corny. Like, they was all just corny. And you see how corny they really are throughout the whole movie. So it's just like, that's what you see with some of these millionaires that get in trouble. Like, what was Homeboy's name? Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein. You could tell, like, you could look at him and go, yo, you a corny dude. You know what I mean? So this movie was really dealing with that type of situation in the similarity of, like, when dudes get that kind of power, this is what happens. Now, it could be used both ways, but they had to nail it home with what we've seen. It was dudes wilding in the past several to 10 years. And Zoe was very smart by making it a movie where it was like, you didn't really see it graphically, but you understood what was going on. You understood how crazy it can get. And in some ways, that's why I said there's a rumor about the Epstein Island thing, but it could have been right. Like, it could have been right on the money. Like, we don't know what happened at that place. We were never there. And this is what this movie kind of like emulated in a sense. Like, it was just like, they were on an island. There was no phones, no communication to the outside world. Whatever happens, happens on this island. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens on the island stays on the island. And that's what made it a compelling thriller towards the end. So I wish I could tell y'all more. I really, really wish I could, but I don't want to spoil it. I've done it with Trap. I did it with Inside Out 2. I did it with It Ends With Us. I did it with pretty much all of the movies I reviewed. And I just feel like if I reviewed this movie like a month later, then yeah, it would have been all like, yeah, I'm telling you everything. This happened, this happened, this happened. But there are little things I can say without spoiling it that was cool. There was a character in there named, I believe it was Camilla. She openly said that she is from Dykeman, which is in New York City in the Washington Heights area, which is basically like borderline Manhattan, Bronx. Anyway, why I got hyped when this part came on? I got hyped. Everybody else in the theater was like, why are you so hyped for? I was hyped. The reason I was hyped was mainly because, fam, how many times do you see a character that really is from Washington Heights, unless it's a movie where Washington Heights is like within the vicinity of the main setting, right? Outside of the movie In the Heights, how many movies is that? You don't get a lot of people that say they from the Heights. They either from like the Bronx or Queens or Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really get a lot of people that's from Washington Heights. So for her to be like, yo, I'm from Dykeman, you know what I'm saying? Da, da, da. I was like, oh, we got ourselves a Dykeman chick? Let's go. I like it. I like what's going on here. I was rooting for her the minute she said that. She announces it very late in the movie, not gonna lie, but better late than never. I was hyped just off the fact, because I'm like, this is a movie about celebrities and rich people and stuff, and it's cool to know that there was somebody from the hood right there, like, yo, what up, though? I'm from Dykeman. Like, I got, like, and she was talking very New Yorkish. Like, yo, I beat chicks up, da, 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 da. But it wasn't, like, ratchet. It was just, like, you could tell that she was a New Yorker throughout most of the movie. You feel me? There was also a situation that was very near and dear to the hood, whereas they smoked a lot of weed in that film, you know what I'm saying? And there was one girl named Jess who had the lighter. And every single time, I gotta give her props because she was very generous with the lighter. Very generous with it. But at the end of the day, Cass was like, yo, let me hold the lighter. And they was jacking her for it. And she kept her eye on the lighter. Why? Because we notice in the hood, there are lighter thieves out there. You gotta watch your lighter, no matter what color it is, no matter what model, what shape, what company made the lighter. You gotta keep your eyes on your light at all times, because you will lose it to another person. And people will act like they forgot and they'll steal your lighter. And that's what they was doing to her in this movie. Every day she woke up in the island, they was like, yo, you got a lighter? And she looked around like, yo, and at one point she was like, yo, hold on. So somebody got my lighter, and checked everybody like, yo, who got my lighter? B, stop playing. She was like, I gotta write my name on the lighter, because it got real. That part to me had me dying, because I was like, yo, I get it. There's lighter thieves out here. It's mad real. And that was another hood scenario that I was like, I gotta give that to the hood, because the hood knows. We know there's two types of things you don't do with lighters. One, you don't steal from your fellow person that you smoking with. And two, you don't get a white one, because it's supposedly bad luck. Now, also, they were sharing one lighter throughout the whole time on that island, and that lighter had a lot of juice in it to keep going. Why, you ask? I'll tell you why. Because even though Shorty was generous with the lighter, she was also conservative about her one lighter. So that meant at all times, you ain't getting her lighter like that, son, because she had to keep the juice rations. She had to portion them rations so she could keep lighting it whenever she wanted to light it. That's what you do. Simple as that. But I'm not saying this to take away from the seriousness of the film. I'm saying this because these are little things I found hilarious throughout the whole film, that I felt like it was to take, sometimes it got to be a little funny. And there was different things that was happening. Like I said, on the island, there were clues to let you know what was going on. There was clues to help you get to the real reveal of what this whole movie is about. And it's not just about a love story. It's not just like a comedy movie. It's a real situation that happens. This movie was so real. I read that it was supposed to be called Pussy Island. Excuse my French. That's what it was supposed to be called. She was gonna call it that. Zoe was about hers. She was like, I'm gonna call it this. Don't know the reason that she changed it. Maybe the company was probably like, yo, that's a wild title. But that's what she was gonna call it at first. And then she changed it to Blink Twice. And it really is something that you got to think about, because they even say it in the beginning of the movie to give you a clue. And we've heard it before. Blink twice if you need help. That tells you, But it was just a crazy movie when you really think about it. Now, to kind of wrap things up a little quicker compared to my previous reviews, because I was able to spoil those, we have a rating system that always, we know in the hood, is usual terms that are said to describe anything good, mediocre, or bad, or in the middle, whatever. And that is saying if it's valid, that means it was a great film, near perfect. If it was alright, which means it was cool, it was alright, it was passable, it was okay. And lastly, nah, this ain't it, which means it was trash, hot doodle trash, hot trash, whatever you want to call it, whack, whatever you say is a bad film, this is what it was. And for me, I got to say, since it exceeded my expectations, dealt with a real serious issue, but dealt with it in a way where you didn't feel like they were forcing it or shoving it at you or anything of that nature, this was valid. This was a valid film for everybody to understand how real shit could get, and how we don't know how real it is, how we get blinded by sometimes the lights of a celebrity or just a person in power that we admire, that we don't know or realize what crazy and sadistic things they can do to us. You know what I'm saying? So take the way I'm talking about this movie as kind of a close hint as to what you can expect in this film without me spoiling it. Because at the end of the day, it really did get crazy. And what made the film crazy was that every day on the island, they just kept having a good time, and they wasn't thinking about any of their troubles. They wasn't thinking about any of their worries. They wasn't thinking about anything, because they were on an island that was owned by a billionaire. And she met all his friends. She thought in her mind, like, yo, this dude really feeling me. To find out what she found out later was just like, hey, yo, like, this dude ain't feeling me. He just got some other agenda. And you find out what that agenda is, and you like, yo, this movie is wildin'. It made for a good movie. It made for that right thriller. But when you realize that this was inspired by or not even, yeah, it was like loosely inspired by real life events. Not any that Zoe Kravitz was specifically like zeroing in on, but enough to be like, hey, yo, this is wild. It was just like, oh, nah, this, like this can't be right. This can't be what it is. So I suggest you go and see Blink twice. I implore you to see Blink twice. I want you to see Blink twice, and I don't want you to blink more than once. Don't fall asleep. Watch this film. Go see it with a friend, colleague, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend. Go see it with somebody. Go see it with a spouse. Have fun. It's a good movie. And if anybody lives in Washington Heights, you got somebody to root for in the film. You know what I'm saying? It's going down like that. It's a real kind of film. Shout out to everybody who starred in this film. Shout out, more importantly, to Zoe Kravitz. My sister, this was genius work. It was really good. Can't wait to see if you got something else cooking in the bag. Good job. As a man, I have no right to really fully explain what this movie is about or the lessons that needed to be learned. But I will say, y'all celebrities, the ones that be wilding and the ones that end up getting caught, y'all gotta do better. Y'all gotta do better. Y'all be wilding and y'all know who y'all are. That's why movies like this get made. So y'all gotta do better. But this movie was fire. Go see Blink twice in theaters right now. It's Labor Day weekend. Have yourself some fun. And happy Labor Day to everybody. Enjoy your holiday weekend, wherever you doing, wherever you go. If you ain't got nothing to do, go to the theaters and see Blink twice. You feel me? Anyway, once again, as always, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing. Please like, share, comment if you've seen the film. Tell me what your thoughts are. You can tell me I'm wrong. It's cool. I'm willing to listen. Teach me. Maybe I've missed something. But at the end of the day, is what it is. This is how conversations work, and let's have a good conversation. Be nice. And yeah, follow me on all social media at Nerds in the Hood. Check my link tree in the description and check out all the content I have there. But until next time, we'll be back with more movie past movements on Nerds in the Hood. Peace.